What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily, and in this video, we are checking out the Tecno Camon 30 Premier 5G. Now, this phone was originally announced back in February at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and later launched for the international market a couple of months ago. But this is the new design edition of the Camon 30 Premier 5G that Tecno just released in partnership with German electronics brand Loewe. The design edition features a unique color scheme and materials sourced from, if you can believe it, coffee grounds. It's a nod to sustainability, a celebration of nature, technology, and fashion, and oh yeah, the phone itself is pretty darn good too. I personally love when these tech companies partner up on some special edition devices, and I think if you're looking to grab something no one else has, this new design edition of the Camon 30 Premier 5G should certainly be in the running. Also, I love getting the chance to check out some other devices that we don't get here in the US. This is the second Tecno phone I've had this year, and this one is definitely an upper tier device when it comes to specs, features, and overall capabilities, while still being offered at a pretty friendly price tag. Now, right away, you know you have something pretty special. The design edition Camon 30 Premier 5G is shipped in a really aesthetic, color-matching box, and after you slice into the sticker and slide off the lid, you get your first peek at this very unique smartphone. Tecno also includes all the accessories you could ever want, and then some. Inside the Designed by Loewe box, you'll find some paperwork, including instructions for your extra tempered glass screen protector. One is already installed on the device, along with a special color-matched case to protect that special finish. At the bottom of the box, there's a 70-watt USB wall plug to help juice you up to 100% in about 45 minutes. There's also a SIM injector tool if you need it, and of course a USB cable for charging. So here is the special Tecno Camon 30 Premier 5G designed by Loewe, and after peeling off a few more stickers, you get to see that really unique design and finish. Everything that's special with this phone has to do with its rear housing. Obviously, you have that 5-color green gradient, tasteful Designed by Loewe text engraved on that strip of silver, and the material itself, well, it feels kind of like a faux leather. It's soft and supple, and it was made in part from waste coffee grounds. Obviously, a first for any smartphone. This is no doubt a sustainability play. Tecno says that the design is inspired by the life cycle of leaves, and each backplate has nearly a gram of coffee ground waste. So they're combining fashion and function, a stylish design with a sustainable source. The phone doesn't have that nice fresh coffee smell, but I think Tecno succeeded in offering something no other smartphone manufacturer would ever think of doing. Aside from its iconic green palette, the rest of the special edition Tecno Camon 30 Premier 5G is the same phone you'd otherwise get if you opted for one of the traditional color options. At precisely 6.77 inches corner to corner, this is certainly one of the bigger phones you can buy, but with a nearly 90% screen-to-body ratio and super slim black bezels up and down, what you see and what you hold in your hand is nearly all screen. Still, this is one of those phones that's a bit of a risk using one-handed. You'll be shifting and sliding it around to get your thumb to reach all 4 corners. Around back, you have an absolutely gargantuan camera module that houses some pretty hefty hardware, and between the bump and this little slope leading up to it, this is one of those phones that looks and feels a bit top-heavy. The sides and edges are all aluminum with a matte finish. The phone is technically splash resistant with an IP54 rating, and I think collectively, you not only have a unique looking smartphone, of course, but this is one that's certainly built to the standards of a near flagship device. On the left side, you'll see the volume buttons. The power button is on the right. At the top, there's one of 2 Dolby Atmos loudspeakers alongside an IR blaster. The other loudspeaker is at the bottom next to the USB-C port and a physical SIM card tray. You have the option of popping in 2 physical SIMs, but unfortunately, this phone lacks micro SD card support. On the bright side, though, you get 512 gigabytes of onboard storage, so I guess I can't complain too much about that. On the front side of the phone, you have your selfie camera, and you can also probably now see the pre-installed screen protector. I think it's great that this phone comes protected out of the box. And speaking of protection, here's what that included case looks like on the phone. It's a firm plastic hardshell case that snaps right on and obviously complements its screen quite nicely. It's not the most protective thing in the world, but nicer than the rubbery clear cases of other phones, and it is cool to see that it matches the special edition device. Underneath the screen, you have an in-display fingerprint sensor for unlocking. I've had zero issues with this for as many times as I've used it now, even with the screen protector on the phone. It literally wakes and unlocks first try every time. And you can pair that with Face Unlock 2, which sort of has that iPhone-esque dynamic island animation when it catches your face. The big giant screen on this Tecno, well, it offers a lot more than just its size. It's a super sharp 1264 by 2780 resolution LTPO AMOLED panel. It's an adaptive 120Hz screen as well, and it's fairly bright, peaking at about 1400 nits. Now, first and foremost, resolution-wise, this is better than 1080p, better than what you get on Samsung's flagships, better than a lot of four-figure $1,000 plus phones, and at this big size, those extra pixels make a difference. Specifically that you can't see them at all. The AMOLED panel is also super colorful with the default picture settings. It's as vibrant a viewing experience as you could ask for, and all of your content is going to look great. It's also an especially smooth looking display thanks in part to its customizable adaptive 120Hz panel. Phone can be set to 120Hz specifically or automatically adjust to a lower refresh rate in certain situations for optimal battery life and performance. But if you want to take it to the other extreme, there's also an easy to find Ultra Touch setting where you can enable even faster on-screen animations. With everything here maxed out, this phone feels lightning fast with your taps, touches, swipes, and scrolls. And collectively, the screen as a whole is far better than a vast majority of phones in its price range, and even a lot of much pricier upper tier devices too. To pair with the viewing experience, the speakers on this phone are purported to be Dolby Atmos certified, and the fact that you get two full-sized ones at the top and bottom is a great start already. For the sound quality, what it lacks in punchiness and bass, it makes up for in detail and clarity. Here's a sound sample so you can experience it yourself.
You're so perfect. Oh, I know that you got
So powering the Tecno Camon 30 Premier 5G is still a fairly new MediaTek Dimensity 8200 Ultimate chipset. That's Ultimate in the name itself. And you get 12 gigabytes of RAM, which once again is a bit more than a lot of so-called flagship phones. The 512 gigabytes of onboard storage rounds out a stout array of internals, and glancing at the Geekbench scores, this phone is definitely in that upper 1/3 of smartphones when it comes to performance and potential power. It's currently running Tecno's HiOS 14 over Android 14, which I think is a perfectly fine Android skin with some quirky iOS-like imitations. Tecno also tosses in a lot of their own apps and things, which are actually more helpful than most of the pre-installed stuff from some other OEMs. I think as an overall bang for your buck device, the Premier really offers you a lot, whether you use your phone sparingly throughout the day or want to push it a bit harder. It's not quite the top-tier gaming device that gaming-specific smartphones are nowadays, and it still falls short processor-wise compared to those latest Snapdragons, but what you get is a solid and speedy smartphone that I think can tackle 95% of what the normal population would use it for. And I know this question often comes up in regards to the other Android phones. As far as software support and expected updates, Tecno recently said that all of their 30 series phones will get up to Android 16 and 36 months of security patches guaranteed. So I think you can rest easy knowing that this phone will be at least a decent 3-year hold with all the latest software features. Also powering this phone is a pretty beefy 5000 milliamp battery. It's not the largest on the market, but it's paired with some super fast 70-watt charging capabilities with the included brick and USB cable. So you'll spend far less than an hour plugged in if you do find yourself hitting 0% at any point during the day. Tecno claims just 45 minutes going from 0 to 100, but the slight bummer here is no wireless charging, though I'm not sure how that would even work given this phone's multi-tiered back panel. Speaking of the backside, let's talk about that camera setup. Now this phone not only has one heck of a hardware setup, but you also get a ton of shooting modes and software add-ons to play with, which are an interesting addition to say the least. The camera setup consists of 3 different 50 megapixel lenses, an f1.9 aperture main lens, a 70mm periscope telephoto lens with 3 times optical zoom and 60 times digital zoom, and a 114-degree ultra-wide lens. The selfie camera, ironically enough, is also a 50 megapixel shooter, and inside the camera app, Tecno offers you probably more than you'd ever fully utilize, but the standout stuff includes its super zooming capabilities, 4 different focal lengths for your portrait pics, dual lens video recording, 4K 60 FPS video, super night mode, ultra steady image stabilization, and Tecno's AI image generator, where you snap a portrait pic of yourself and you get an image set in return that has your face featured in various different settings. When snapping some actual pictures, this phone does a nice job capturing a lot of detail without over-processing, colors look good without being oversaturated, and the portrait picture focal lengths do give you some varying image styles to work with if you're into that sort of stuff. This is one of those camera setups where you kind of get it all, and for a phone like this, I think it's a big plus, and I look forward to putting this chunky boy to the test in the coming days to see what all those 50 megapixel lenses can really do. Tecno's Camon 30 Premier 5G is one heck of a phone on its own, but the new Loewe edition offers that little something extra for folks who want to make sort of a statement and who maybe also fancy themselves an environmentalist. Shades of green aside, this is one of those phones that I wish we got in the US, simply because I think it could crush a lot of our usual mid-tier options from Samsung and Motorola, for example. But what do you guys think of the Premier 5G? Is this a phone that's available to you? Are you considering it right now, or do you have it already? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow Tech Daily on Twitter and subscribe to the Tech Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.